Welcome back, everyone, to the AI Navigator. We're here to help you navigate the ever-changing world of AI, and let me tell you, things are moving fast.
Fast is an understatement, I think. Seems like every time I blink, there's a new tool or development popping up somewhere.
I know, right? It's tough to keep up, but that's why we're here, to break it all down.
Yeah.
So speaking of new tools, have you heard about this one? It's called Uncheck AI, and it's causing quite a stir. You can find it at uncheck.ai.
Oh yeah, I've seen some chatter about that one. It claims to rewrite AI-generated content to make it undetectable by AI detection tools.
Exactly. I mean, think about the implications there. It's a bit of a cloak and dagger situation, isn't it?
It really is. On the one hand, you can see how it could be used for, well, less than ethical purposes. But on the other hand, it raises interesting questions about the limits of AI detection and, what constitutes original content in this new age.
For sure. It's a whole can of worms. But while we're talking about AI making waves, we got to talk about OpenAI. They've been busy bees lately, especially with ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, they've rolled out some pretty significant updates recently. For starters, the ChatGPT Mac app now integrates with even more apps. We're talking Notion, Apple Notes, even dev tools like Xcode and VS Code.
So basically, they're making it even easier to incorporate ChatGPT into your daily workflow, whatever that might be.
Precisely. And it's not just about convenience either. This level of integration could really change how we work, how we learn, how we interact with information in general.
Definitely. And speaking of ChatGPT updates, have you checked out the upgraded advanced voice mode? I mean, now you can collaborate and get real-time feedback on files and notes just using voice commands.
It's pretty impressive. And for those who prefer a more, shall we say, retro approach, you can actually call ChatGPT. The number is 1-800-242-8478. Of course, it's also still available on WhatsApp for good old-fashioned text-based interaction.
It's like they're pulling out all the stops to make AI accessible to everyone, regardless of how they prefer to interact. But, OpenAI is not the only one making headlines. There's a lot happening in the AI world right now. For instance, YouTube is testing AI detection features.
Yes, I read about that. It seems they're focused on helping creators and I guess you could say celebrities, identify AI-generated content that uses their likeness without permission.
Exactly. I mean, with deep fakes and all that, it's a legitimate concern. You don't want someone out there creating fake videos of you saying or doing things you never did.
Right. It's a real issue. And speaking of big players making moves, have you heard about IBM's latest push? They're aiming to dominate the enterprise LLM market with their new open-source Granite 3.1 models.
Oh, yeah. Those are specifically designed for businesses, right? It seems like everyone's trying to get a piece of the AI pie these days.
It's a highly competitive landscape for sure. But the interesting thing is, with the rise of open-source models like these, AI is becoming more accessible, not just to big corporations, but to smaller companies, researchers, even individuals.
It's true. And speaking of open source, we can't forget about the UAE's Falcon 3 model. What's interesting about this one is that it's challenging the trend of building these massive AI models. Falcon 3 is all about efficiency and a smaller size.
It's an interesting approach. While large language models are impressive, they're also resource intensive. A smaller, more specialized model might be more practical and more affordable for certain applications.
Makes sense. And then there's this fascinating research from Hugging Face about something called test time compute scaling. Apparently, it could lead to some seriously powerful AI systems.
Yeah, the idea is to adjust the computing power used during inference, when the AI is actually making predictions, to optimize performance. It's a clever way to get the most out of your hardware and potentially make AI more efficient.
It's amazing to see all these different approaches to AI development. But before we wrap things up, there are a few trending terms and concepts I thought we should mention, just to kind of pique your curiosity.
Oh, absolutely. Let's throw some AI buzzwords out there.
All right, so get ready for this rapid-fire round. Quantization in AI, Monte Carlo tree search, constitutional AI, something called Devin, generative AI in cybersecurity.
Don't forget large action models, or LAMs, as the cool kids call them. And of course, we got to mention responsible AI licenses, or RAIL, and retrieval augmented generation. That's RAG for short.
We know. We just threw a lot at you.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we'll have detailed explanations of all these concepts on our website. You can find it at theinavigator.com.
Think of it as your one-stop shop for all things AI. Because, let's be honest, staying on top of this field is a full-time job in itself.
It really is. But hey, that's why you have us, your trusty AI navigators. And that brings us to the end of another episode. As always, thanks for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the AI Navigator on your favorite podcast platform, and we'll see you next week with more AI insights.
Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.
And maybe try calling ChatGPT. You never know, you might have a fascinating conversation with a large language model.
Now that's an idea for a future episode.
Ooh, I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's a wrap. Catch you next time.